Now, this documentary that you guys have done is quite a bit different than anything you've done in the past. Is that right?
It's radically different. It's much better than anything we've ever done, and we're very excited about it. In fact, it went in a way we didn't mean it to go. It kind of evolved, if I may use that phrase.
Easy now there, buddy.
Well, that's the end of that interview.
Yeah, there we go.
I wrote a book called Hitler, God, and the Bible, and I said to the publishers, do you want a video to go with it called Hitler's Religion? And they said, yeah. And so I grabbed 12 pages from the manuscript and made it into a script for the movie, and got a whole lot of footage from the Holocaust Museum. And after a month, we felt overwhelmed. We had too much information, too much script, too much footage. And so I said to Mark, my editor, I said, I'm going out in the streets with a camera, and I'm just going to ask people about Hitler. And I found that I had 14 people on camera who didn't know who Adolf Hitler was.
They had no clue who he even was?
Didn't have a clue who he was at all. It was surreal. And there were a lot of people that wouldn't even come on camera because they were too embarrassed to admit that they didn't know who this guy Hitler was. So we had this amazing footage.
Whoa.
And then, without any planning, I bumped into a Russian Jew who had lost loved ones in the Holocaust, and his testimony was just so powerful. And then I was heckled, unplanned, by two neo-Nazis, very nasty gentlemen, at two different times. So we had this footage that was just really amazing. And so then it moved into a pro-life message, which was very strange. What happened is I went my way through study of the Holocaust. I did research, and I read some horrific things. And one thing that stayed in my mind was about a number of Jews that were buried in a pit after they'd been shot. And a lot of them were buried while they were still alive. And I thought, I'm going to take the camera out and put people in a moral dilemma and ask them if they would bury Jews alive by gunpoint. And so I found this guy at a local college, and he had dreadlocks. He looked really good on camera. I moved into the sunlight so there was no shadow on him, and I put him in this dilemma. I said, it's 1943, there's a Nazi with a gun pointed at your head. Behind you there's a bulldozer. In front of the bulldozer there are 300 Jews that have just been shot. Some are still alive. He wants you to get in the bulldozer and bury them alive. Would you do what he says? If you do what he says, he's going to let you live. If you don't, he's going to shoot you to death. And this guy says, oh, no, I could never do that. And I said, why? Are you a compassionate person? He said, oh, yes, I value human life. So I said, well, how do you feel about abortion? And he was pro-abortion. And I said, you're just like the Nazis. And we got into a sword fight for about 5 minutes, to a point where he got angry and walked off. And I filmed him as he walked away. And I thought, this is incredible footage. And looked down, and I saw the camera said off.
Oh, no.
I had turned it off because I was in direct sunlight, and I couldn't see the reflection off the camera, off the screen, and I was just horrified. So I went back about a week later, and I put people in the same scenario, and got some amazing footage. And then I asked one question that changed people's minds from being adamantly pro-abortion to pro-life in a matter of seconds. And we came back and looked at the footage, and we thought, this isn't about Hitler's religion. This is something completely different. And we felt that God had placed something in our hands that was just absolutely wonderful. And so we changed the name from Hitler's Religion to 180, and that's how it came about.